Yo, 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 what's up, y'all? You're now tuned into another edition of the podcast with Tigmatic, episode 92. We moving and booming. Hey, listen, we are here, y'all, and I hope y'all enjoyed y'all day so far, and I'm glad that you're winding down with me. But in the meantime, in between time, y'all know the vibes.
If I kept a penny from every time you told a lie, I'd be rich. If there were no sunlight to wake me up in the morning and I miss my day, you'd be the one to blame. I spend almost every day with you and still feel lonely. Boy, I cook for you, clean up, rearrange the room, dressed up. You don't even notice. Feeling like you're always just a beat behind my heart. You never seem to pick up the pace. Am I just imagining you and I've never been? Don't tell me this is all in my head. I'm in love alone. I feel I'm in this thing on my own. You're standing right there, but you're oh so gone. Facing the fact I'm in love alone. In love alone. If I kept a teardrop every time you made me cry, who'd survive? It seems like every day you're back and forth, you're in and out, we're going down. Love shouldn't be this way. My mind's playing tricks on me, writing scripts and shit, telling my heart don't believe what my conscience said. These ain't good butterflies, I'm angry, got me all anxious. I know I've wasted my time being patient. I'm feeling like you're always just a beat behind my heart. You never seem to pick up the pace. Am I just imagining you and I've never been? Don't tell me this is all in my head. I'm in love alone. I feel I'm in this thing on my own. You're standing right there, but you're oh so gone. Facing the fact I'm in love alone. In love alone. This is fool for you. Damn, I've been a fool so long. Felt you slip, band-aided it, then kept moving on. Mrs. Fool for you. Damn, I've been a fool so long. Felt you slip, band-aided it, then kept moving on. I'm in love alone. I feel I'm in this thing on my own. You're standing right there, but you're oh so gone. Facing the fact I'm in love. short, oh so gone, facing the fact I'm in love alone, in love alone.
I know exactly what they want. I know exactly what they want. Just be patient. My name is my name, power and glory, I never change. Stand on loyalty, remain the same. Say what you mean, speak on my name, you go to war with me. We move the same, you think that it's for me. Running the game, kicking the door with me. All through the pain, the snow, the rain, the ups and downs. My name did more for me, y'all keep the fame. I want the glory, been that nigga, bitches never ignored me. Rich in spirit, little bitch can't afford me. Day one static, fix it with a 4G, red beam on it. You think I'm recording, kicking front doors, you try to backdoor me. We are not a gang, bitch, we an army. Book a den, you know I don't tell stories. Keep it 100 in the light, man, you niggas fake. Baby K name Adonis, mini Drake, clip curl, but somehow I can shoot it straight. Insta clip, I can shoot for a minute straight. Turn this to the Super Bowl if I need to. I can hit your chief up with an eagle. Set you up on the score, but they lied to you. Why you letting them niggas mislead you? My name is my name, power and glory, I never change. Stand on loyalty, remain the same. Say what you mean, speak on my name, you go to war with me. We move the same, you think that it's for me. Running the game, kicking the door with me. All through the pain, the snow, the rain, the ups and downs. My name did more for me. My name is my name, power and glory, I never change. Stand on loyalty, remain the same. Say what you mean, speak on my name, you go to war with me. We move the same, you think that it's for me. Running the game, kicking the door with me. All through the pain, the snow, the rain, the ups and downs. My name did more for me. You won't see it coming, I move like a crook, a thief in the night. So watch what you put, my aim precise. These bullets 12 inches long, a block away I could take off the foot. Don't ask me no questions if you know my stance. Bitch, I'm the man, so thanks in advance. They mean a rifle on top of a tripod. If they ever tell you I was taking a stand, think I run up on me, but I'm way too advanced. Spinning with choppers, turn you into a fan. Can show you the steps, but won't hold your hands. They thought they could stop me, it ain't go as planned. How I get this far? Cause I took a chance. Really got ranked, keeping it a band. This ain't what you think, better think again. This ain't what you think, you better think again. My name is my name, power and glory, I never change. Stand on loyalty, remain the same. Say what you mean, speak on my name, you go to war with me. We move the same, you think that it's for me. Running the game, kicking the door with me. All through the pain, the snow, the rain, the ups and downs. My name did more for me. My name is my name, power and glory, I never change. Stand on loyalty, remain the same. Say what you mean, speak on my name, you go to war with me. We move the same, you think that it's for me. Running the game, kicking the door with me. All through the pain, the snow, the rain, the ups and downs. My name did more for me. Went to war with the real, the fake, the snake, the mobsters. Blame it on y'all, y'all created this monster. Went to war with the real, the fake, the snake, the mobsters. Blame it on y'all, y'all created this monster. Went to war with the real, the fake, the snake, the mobsters. Blame it on y'all, y'all created this monster. Went to war with the real, the fake, the snake, the mobsters. Blame it on y'all, y'all created this monster.
All right, y'all. My guest is here. She's in the back. Once again, we keep it moving and booming, y'all. Episode 92. Hey, listen, I want to thank everybody that's been tuning in, following on social media. Thanks for all the inboxes, all the submissions. Remember, folks, I have hundreds of submissions. So if I don't get to you right away, please don't take it personal. I'm observing, and it has to fit what I'm doing. So if you do fit, you'll be on the show. But in the meantime, in between time, my guest, she is a smart, intelligent woman. She's a model, a singer, an all-around dope person. She's also running for Miss America. So, without further ado, I give you Stacy V. Stacy V, what's going on? Hey, she dipped out. She was here, but she dipped out. Are you there?
Me?
Okay.
Ah,
There she go.
sorry, guys. I'm so excited. I pressed the wrong button.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Welcome to the pod.
Very excited to be here. This is actually my first podcast, so it's very
Hey,
exciting.
she's here with me, y'all. So, we're going to have a little fun. So, although this is your first podcast, you've been watching the show, so you know how I do this. So you should
Absolutely.
be ready to do what you're ready to do right now. And I give my guests their own formal introduction and let them speak for themselves so they can tell it like it is. So
Sure.
you have the floor, ma'am.
Thank you so much. A little bit about me that I want to highlight, aside from all those wonderful things that you said, is my name is Stacy. I am 30 years old from the Bay Area, born and raised,
Hey,
and yep, and I relocated almost 2 years ago. It'll actually be exactly 2 years when I go to compete for Miss Illinois. I have been in both the tech, the medical field, finance. When I was in the Bay, I spent the majority of my 20s. Really hitting the ground running. And in that environment, I wouldn't say I'm competitive, but I'm determined. And I'm also a woman of color. I'm Mexican American. And there was very little women representation, especially women of color in those spaces. And that was my driving factor to get into places like Stanford Medicine, as well as Francisco Partners Private Equity. I also work for an amazing home decor company owned by Sam, and she was in an old executive at Ralph Lauren, and then that led me over to Google as an administrative business partner. I
hey,
I departed with them, but I've decided when I was looking for something as my next step, as much as I loved Google, I didn't really feel the humanitarian or philanthropic fulfillment that I wanted in my life, which I'm really big on, like community service, activism, and giving back. Those are the things that got me to places like Google, programs that amplify women of color as well as underfunded communities. And
absolutely.
so when I was sitting there brainstorming, what do you do after Google? I mean, Google is global. Then I thought to myself, I need to target something universal. So I applied to NASA and I applied to Miss Universe, and they called me the
Oh,
next day, Miss Universe. Not NASA. We're still waiting on that one. But
okay, okay.
and that's where the beauty pageant kind of started. And I'm kind of hitting the ground running with this. This is my first time. And in terms of modeling, I did that back home. So I've worked with brands such as Third Love, Banana Republic, and Old Navy. I did fit modeling right before the pandemic. And now we're kind of in our works of bigger brands from there. And I had the privilege of getting discovered by Team John Hill. And so we're now going to start talking about making some music. So that's just a little
Oh,
bit
that's
about me.
dope.
Yep.
That's dope. So tell me how you got started into wanting to be a model. Before we talk about the Miss Universe, and I said Miss America, my apologies.
It is
Miss
okay. I mean,
Universe.
both amazing organizations. The
Yes.
women that go through the Miss Universe or the Miss America circuit, they get to go, I believe, over to Miss World. I'm really connected with Miss Illinois from 2022. She was in the Miss America circuit, and so she can speak highly of that. Very, very similar organizations, both very, very well respected. In terms of
Right.
modeling, um, it's kind of funny. I had been approached a couple of times when I was younger, but you never think too much about it. I mean, you just hear like, here's a card, go try audition. And like I said, being Latina, also, I'm from a single mother. I didn't have the means to be able to pursue something like that. So I never took it seriously. But when I was actually bartending and working as a paralegal, I was approached again by an agent that actually had signed one of my other friends in the bar, and she spoke highly. I went in and got signed, and so that's how it started. It all kind of happened very accidentally. And I had a great time. We were slowly getting into the acting and more like runway space, but the pandemic hit. So then those things came to a pause. And I thought that was the end of it. Got to Google, kind of put away those entertainer dreams, didn't really think anything of it. And the universe has a funny way of bringing back opportunities if they're meant for you. So it all came right back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, the man, that's awesome. So, where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Fremont, California, in the San Francisco Bay Area. So I lived in San Francisco for a little bit under 5 years, but grew up in the suburbs of the Bay my whole life.
Okay, so let's talk about what growing up was like for you.
You know what's so funny is I did not realize what a privileged experience I had. Being from the Bay, I was in the middle of just like a melting pot of cultures. I've had friends from like the Philippines. I've had friends from Vietnam, friends from, Nicaragua, like anything, like Nigeria. The Bay Area in itself has so much culture to it. And so I grew up in a very diverse environment. Um, and diversity and inclusion was never a thing that I thought was lacking because I saw it everywhere. Like all of my
Right,
friends were different and of color and mixed, and those were things that for me were just second nature. But then getting into a global company such as Google, I kind of started to travel more for work and realized that not everyone has had the exposure to diversity that I have had, and it made me really, really, really want to put more effort into that, to amplification of communities that need more, more help, more services, more funding, and that's kind of how it started.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah.
Okay, you can hear me. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Oh, all right. We catching up a little bit. It looks like the way it's raining down here, so you know how the Wi-Fi gets when it's raining.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah. My apologies,
Not a problem.
but that's awesome. And for you to work at Google and then decide to model, that's an awesome feat within itself.
Yeah,
And also to tackle on Miss Universe. So let's break that down a bit
sure.
because I know they ask so many questions in order for you to win the pageant.
Hmm.
But tell the people about some things that you're really into
Hmm.
uh, based on the questions that they were asked. I say
So,
ask.
of course. I think one of the biggest things that a lot of girls in pageantry, and I've known this because I followed pageantry my whole life. I was approached to do Miss America and Miss Universe a couple times in my teenage years, as well as my sisters. And so we always kept up with it. And I'm Latina, so it's really big in the Mexican American culture. Nuestra Belleza Latina on Univision. So I watched that every year growing up. One thing I realized is there's a really big misconception about pageantry that it is very vain and it's just centered around like appearances and like the vanity of it all. And I would say
Right,
that something that I really want to kind of bring forth and debunk is it gets told like, what about this is different than anything else? What about this is, what about being Miss Universe or Miss USA or Miss Illinois is, what does that even mean or what does that matter? Like it's just a title. And
right,
it's really big to go ahead and make sure that it is noted that pageantry is actually started as a scholarship program. This is a way for women who have lots of accolades that they can go on stage and really broadcast and highlight those things. And if those sponsors as well as the organizations see that kind of talent, they amplify it. You get a scholarship. The runner-ups get opportunities. And so this is actually about continuing your education. And I'm really fortunate. The Miss Universe pageant used to have a cutoff at 26. In 2022, they actually eliminated their cutoff. And I, at 30, was able to apply. I did not get to finish college because, like I said, single mother, I was in a really expensive area. And so this actually gives me the opportunity to go back to school. And that's something that I really, really want to highlight and really make known to a lot of people who think it's just a modeling competition, if you will.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. And to be able to go back to school so you
Yes.
could graduate, get all the accolades that you're looking for. What are you
Yep.
going to school for exactly?
I was originally going to school for a Bachelor of Communications with a minor in Women's Studies. Originally, it was going to be Women's Studies, but I also did realize that Women's Studies in itself needs amplification through the media. And I still want to pursue my bachelor's in communications and finish that. However, after I get my bachelor's, my goal is to apply to law school now that I have the experience of corporate law, immigration, family, and other forms of law, because before Google, I was a paralegal for 3 years.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
What is the role of fan culture in affecting the mental health of
In fan
modeling and pageantry?
a fan culture?
Hmm.
I would think I would probably say the culture in itself is there's a lot of if you're a model, people aspire to look like you, and if you do pageants, people aspire to kind of follow in your footsteps. I think that the role of fans in terms of where I'm going, it's a lot of like mentorship and kind of creating that mentor or that person that the next generation could look up to. And in terms of my mental health, that is both a blessing, but it can be a little overwhelming. So it does add on the pressure of I'm being watched. I'm influencing people. And those are things that
Right.
at Google, we're not necessarily. I knew I was influencing my own circle of friends, my own community of people that would reach out on LinkedIn and I would help mentor, but it is now at a larger scale. And so it started to open up the oh, I'm being watched. And so my mental health kind of took a I'm not just in it for myself anymore. It's for the greater good, which I'm both blessed by, but it can be overwhelming. I would be lying if I said it wasn't.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I believe that so many people do look up to you and all the other models
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
not only do you have to look beautiful, you have to show that you're so much more than that.
exactly.
So
True.
n- let's talk about the highlighting your talents part.
Yeah.
Tell the people a bit about your singing, how you got started into it,
Oh, it's
and
actually yeah, of course. Let's see here. I will be so candid with you. I have
please
I
do.
everybody sings. So I've been asked, can you sing? I'm like, everyone can sing. I mean, we all sing happy birthday to our friends and family, so like everyone can sing. I did not realize that I even had any kind of a vocal range until I met John. And he actually originally scouted me for modeling.
Mhm.
And I took a meeting at the Chicago Opera House. And after 4 hours and being put on the spot, I kind of belted out a few Amy Winehouse songs and, some things here and there, and it worked out. And it's one of those things where it's very new. My original talent when I applied for Miss Universe is actually dancing. I was training as a professional dancer for NFL and NBA style. So I was a finalist for both the Raiderettes as well as the Bay Area Panthers. And I've also, auditioned for the Warriors, the Gold Rush, and other teams. And so that's been more of my talent. And now singing is kind of like my passion project now. And a new one we're adding onto the roster thanks to Team John Hill.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, dancing. You went to school for dancing, right?
Nope. Did not.
Really?
I grew up watching the Dallas Cowboys cheerleader show. We could not afford lessons, and so I would go on YouTube and I would YouTube videos. I would learn. I am not technically trained as a ballerina or anything. I wish I was, but it goes back to why I'm really big on after school programs and community service because there were a couple programs I was able to do that taught me those skills, but I'm not actually technically trained. I was never able to pay for it.
Oh, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
basically, you were self-taught.
Self-taught. However, I will.
Self-taught.
I want to amplify one thing. In the Bay Area, there's this amazing program. It's called SEMAware. It's owned by Simone Miller, and she is. I really hope Miller's her last name. If not, Simone, I'm so sorry. I adore you. She is both a talent scout. She danced for the Warriors. She was, I believe, the director of choreography for the Minnesota Vikings. So she created a program. Which not only was it very cost effective because they gave you different payment plans, but they brought in
Right.
choreographers from across like the country, LA, Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, Laker girls, like any kind of dancer you've seen, they brought in. And I started that program when I was 22. After I auditioned for the Gold Rush and didn't make it. Um, and I started, oh, I'm so sorry. I started dancing, I think I was 23 actually, when I heard about SimAware. And that's why I got to the Raiderettes finals. And that's why I was able to, that's why I have a lot of dance footage. A lot of that program taught me stage presence because, like I said, I was self-taught through YouTube until that point.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if crown Miss Universe, how would you use the title to promote mental health initiatives globally?
Personally, with a platform like Miss Universe, I would use it in terms of mental health. I want to target not only just like my generation and, I'm a millennial, like we're in our 30s, we're all complaining about ADHD and we can't buy a house. So one, I'm going to talk to that and those things. However, in the mental health space, I would want to talk about the imposter syndrome of it all and
Mm,
anxiety and depression and ADHD. I mean, these are things that I knew I had, but everyone has them for the most part. I mean, a lot of people do. It's very common. And you can see in the way that our generation uses ADHD as humor, like platforms like TikTok. There's a reason it has so many likes. We're all relating to it. Now, these kind of conditions, when you're in high pressure environments, can only get amplified in ways that become very, very dangerous. And that's what
true.
I want to address. Google, it
Okay.
was an amazing experience, but after almost 2 years, the amount of conversations I would have with other very high level executives, partners, project managers, we were all scared. We were all nervous. We were all like, are we good enough? I mean, you're at Google, like it was hard to get there. And so I want to highlight, it does not matter how much you make. It does not matter your role. It does not matter your title, your crown, or whatever it is, your mental health, you're still a human being. It doesn't matter if you reach the top of the hill, the top of the mountain, like you got there. It doesn't mean all of that insecurity melts away. And that's okay. But a lot of us are under that fake narrative that was pushed. Like if you just get the high paying job, if you just get the Tesla, if you just buy the house, then you'll be happy. Um, that's not true. I was
Absolutely.
I
And
got
I agree
everything I
with you
wanted.
there. I
Exactly.
agree
So
with you there because money can't buy happiness. It
exactly.
can
And
buy
that's
a lot of
something.
things,
Exactly.
but your happiness that
Not
has to
even
come from
close.
within and from God. You know,
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
I'm a true believer in that. You know,
I have all the prettiest designer things, and it made me happy in that moment. And when I would be sad, I would just sit there and cry with all my pretty things and be like, "Where'd it go? The happiness." I'm like, "Oh, that's not internal. That was just momentary." And so you have to look for it in significant ways, not material objects.
right? So, can you share a personal experience that inspired your passion for mental health?
Um, a personal experience would possibly be that as soon as I got offered the job at Google, within a week or two from that, I ended up finding out that my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. And
Oh,
like I said,
sorry to hear that.
oh, it's okay. I mean, life happens, and I'm grateful she's still here. Um, very lucky. But what I learned is, like I said, I thought once I got there, once I got that title, once I got that salary, I was like, nothing will ever break me down. Now I did it. I'm here. And then that happened. And that's when I realized like mental health matters because, again, to what we said, like the accolades and the material things, those are very surface level. But what your brain really registers, what your chemistry really feels is like the life, like people, like who matters. It's not, I could lose my purse tomorrow, my $3,000 go yard, but it's not ever going to be the same as losing my mother. And that's what I started realizing when I'm like, our society is so unfortunately convinced that if we could just get a certain thing. And I realized, like I said, that experience taught me like, doesn't matter how much I make, that's not gonna mean that I can save my mom. Like, does it no
Right.
matter how much money you have, and that's what opened up my eyes to mental health because I couldn't make myself happy buying things anymore, and then I
Yeah.
realized something was wrong.
Yeah. I understand that, and I can not only empathize and sympathize, but I can relate.
Yeah,
I lost my mother-in-law to this illness as well, and my wife had this illness as well. She beat the cancer, but
yeah,
I understand what it feels like to go through that anxiety, that depression, that fear, and
yeah,
it's a lot, and it takes a lot on you mentally. So, my condolences once again, and I think that faith helps along the way,
yeah,
and things will get better if you keep your faith.
100%.
100%.
I would
So,
like to say with that, I have found God in my lowest moments versus the highest ones I thought. I thought when I got good, I was like, "Thanks, God," and then I realized no, that
you know
I
what?
felt more faith at the bottom than I ever did at the
You know
top.
what? But that's what happens because for a lot of us, and I'll include myself, I thought when I won some case money, I was at the
Yeah.
top of the top.
Yeah, we're
You
killing
know, so I'm
it.
like,
I'm God's
oh, I'm
favorite.
up.
Yep.
and I'm feeling myself, and I caught myself not really paying attention to what God was trying to do in my life. You know what I'm saying? So listen, I was a little big headed, a little cocky,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
know,
it happened to me.
and
I
it
was at Google.
happens. Yeah. So, sometimes we have to be humble
Hmm.
and have some experiences in life to understand
Absolutely.
what's really important. And God will do that to bring you back to Him.
100%.
And yeah. So, what challenges have you faced while preparing for the pageant? And how have you managed your mental health during this journey?
I think the biggest challenge is the visibility, like I said. And with all of the love and support that I've gotten, which I will say this, like, I don't want to cry about this, but I am the luckiest girl because Chicago has been the most welcoming place to do this. I am not a native of this city, but it has taken me in and they have cheered me on, even with just my local title. I have gotten a lot of support, but with all that love and that support, you get the same amount of hate and like weirdness of it all. And I think for me, the biggest challenge has been the misconception of what pageantry is, what modeling is. That does not mean that I am accessible for catcalling or weird comments. I'm still a person, and so
Right.
sometimes I think in public, you wouldn't go up to a random person and put your arm around them and be like, let's take a picture. When you put yourself in that public space, I think you open yourself up to that. People feel more entitled to you.
Right.
And I'm not trying to discredit the fact that as a representative of my community, I'm okay with that. But not everyone is approaching you with the purest of intentions. And that's hard to navigate because I'm a very trusting person. So, I'll get myself in conversations and I'm like, oh no, this isn't going where I wanted it to go. Oops. And so that's been the roughest to navigate. Just when people are like, be more careful, I'm like, they say don't get into like, don't follow a stranger in a car in a van with like a candy, like a lollipop. And I'm like, oh, lollipop, I love lollipops. And everyone's like, oh no. So I definitely had to build up more of a tough skin and not be so welcoming, which is really hard for me because I will talk to a wall. I will talk to anybody. So now I've just
Yeah,
learned that my
you
safeties,
are a
yeah.
very friendly person and
Yeah.
kind hearted, and I can
Thank
see
you.
that.
Thank
I
you.
definitely can see that. But we had a
Yeah.
conversation, and the conversation we had was very deep.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I can tell just by talking to you that you're down to earth, but you're very friendly. And
Yeah.
I can
That's so
also tell
nice.
that you have a fun side. You're very bubbly, but I can also tell you cross the path the wrong way, you might see the fierce cat.
Oh,
You know what I'm
100%. Because
saying?
exactly. In those moments, it's not about me because I'm like, oh no, because you're gonna approach me like this. The next girl in line, you're gonna do that too, and it stops right here. And so I'm like
Right.
the first one. But those are hard because there's something, well, didn't you see that coming? I'm like, no, I really thought that they were like the owner of a charity, like, and so those are the things that I'm like, my naiveness shows every now and then because I'm not an entertainer. I'm very new. I am a baby singer, a baby model. Like I'm very new to it. So I'm really fortunate that I got connected with Team John Hill because they kept me very safe and well navigated through this process.
Oh, that's awesome. So, how has your role as Miss River North allowed you to impact your community in terms of mental health awareness and pageantry?
Of course. One of the biggest accomplishments thus far, which, like I said, still super new. I've only been crowned for 3 months. I had the privilege of connecting with the Gilda Cancer Association Foundation. It's actually located in River North, and it is a nonprofit that gives back to families as well as cancer patients with different resources as therapy, after school programs, yeah, for holidays, they do events to really make the families feel together. They create communities because when you're, losing someone or watching someone you love go through it, you do need community. I didn't think I needed that for the
Amen.
longest time, and you do.
Support is
And
definitely important.
And that's my biggest accomplishment. I talked to them today on the phone, and I'm working with not only getting them more funding through, social media, and if anybody wants to sponsor me, you have to donate to them first. And that's something I can do. That I can tell them, I'm like, listen, I'll work with you, but you need to work with the charities that I love first, because that matters to me. I can pay out of pocket for all my pageantry fees if needed. I'm not the one that needs that kind of funding. I know that these foundations and the Gilda Cancer Association Foundation, like I would say that they run an entire business that for under $2 million a year supports multiple families across River North and the Chicago area. And they need more amplification. And so that's probably my biggest accomplishment so far, is that I get to talk about them on a platform like this with over 80,000 listeners and streams and across all your
Yes.
platforms. And not everyone gets that kind of an opportunity, and I get to shout them out now, and that's amazing. That's all I wanted to do while I was in places like Google or Stanford, and now I get to do it.
Yes. Oh, well, listen, you're more than welcome to come on and talk about it any other time. You already know
I love that.
that.
That is so exciting.
So, okay. What do you think is the biggest stigma surrounding mental health today? And how can we collectively work to overcome it?
Oh, that one's easy because I've experienced it. I think the biggest stigma is that it's a choice. Just be happy, or just stop crying. Just go on a walk. Drink some water. Remember, things aren't that bad.
Ain't nothing wrong
That's
with you.
Oh, there are kids in
You all right.
Africa
You'll be
that
all
you have
right.
all your limbs. Oh, at least you're not dying. At least that didn't happen. Well, it could have been worse. And that is a stigma that I think for me was really hard, because I, and without naming names, some of the places I've worked at, I was the saddest, most depressed I have ever been, but I was not allowed to say it out loud, because how dare I complain? I'm so lucky. I make this much money. I get these perks. I get to travel. And it almost became where I've even heard, like, "Oh, you're sad, life's hard. Well, you're just being a narcissist. You just want attention." Mental health is not a choice. It is not a choice to be depressed. It is not a choice to be sad. Um, it has a lot to do with your body chemistry and what you're experiencing, and outside factors. And we're humans. Like, we can only take so much, and that's something that I want people to understand. It's If someone tells you, "Hey, I'm struggling," it's not for attention a lot of the times. Oh, if not 99% of the times, it is a call for help. And I really, really think that that's something that people need to take a lot more seriously.
Oh, that's awesome. Jerome Moore, my dear friend of PBS, producer of PBS show, A Slice of the Community, says amazing story and questions. Why, thank you, my guy.
Mhm.
So here's my next question for you. Many artists and public figures struggle. I'm sorry. Let me take a sip of water first. My mouth is
Oh,
dry.
you are okay.
Okay. Many artists and public figures struggle in silence with mental health issues. How can platforms like Miss Universe help normalize seeking help?
I think that platforms like Miss Universe, Miss America, all of these pageants, they actually already do. It's the women that you see up there, when they speak up about how we actually feel or navigate, it shows the realism of humanity. Like, we're people. I don't care how much makeup I put on or what bathing suit I look good in. There is prep to that. I don't look like that. None of us look like that 24/7. And
Right.
that's the beauty of it. We get to be like, yes, I can go on stage and perform and look perfect. And then still the next day, I can go home and have a bad day, or not look good, or have a breakout, or gain 20 pounds. And that's something that these organizations show. It's like, we're still people. I mean, we're not winning a beauty title of just being beautiful. Like I said, scholarship program. A lot of these women have bigger goals aside from just modeling. A lot of women in pageantry get to model, but a lot of them also use those earnings to give back to those communities, or to at least,
Absolutely.
what I say, I will do a shoot with any kind of company. That's wonderful. Just in terms of my compensation, you don't need to pay me 50,000. Give it to this charity, and those are things that not the average everyday person gets to do. But a place like Miss Universe, Miss America, you know, any of these places, they give you the ability to have visibility to start to demand support for your sponsors. And I don't mean demand in like a blackmailing way. I mean in a way that like, yes, you can work with me. Yes, you can work with the USA, but these organizations care about people. And so I want to pay it forward. And a lot of the girls do. They pay it forward. The current Miss Illinois right now, Grace Rohde, she's younger than me and she is light years ahead of herself. She gives back to you know, to learning and education. And she's really big on, you know, funding for kids to continue to, you know, literacy. And that isn't something she had to do. She could have just gotten a modeling contract and kept it moving. And that's a lot what a lot of pageant women do. It's not just modeling and being beautiful.
Right. That's awesome. So here's my next question to you. Okay. As someone involved in a high pressure environment, how do you maintain your mental well-being amidst societal expectations?
Um, you know, I'm still learning that. I'm still navigating a lot right now, but one thing I've learned is just reach out to your friends. I think a lot of people like myself, because you get to this point where you almost feel like nobody understands you. I was the only one out of all my friends and my family who ever got to a company like Google, and no one understood it. And it became very, very lonely because, again, how do you complain about something that everyone sees as just a pure blessing? You just can't. You feel bad. You feel guilty. You feel ungrateful. I've learned that you have to find a community of people who is okay with you being the most messy, chaotic version of yourself, you know? You
Right.
have to go to your job, you have to go to, you know, this platform, you have to go on social media and you have to highlight the best parts of your day, the most amazing picture moments, all of that. But when you go home and you're sad and you just need to have like you wanna eat ice cream on your couch with your friend and tell her why, even though I guess I landed this shoot and it was amazing, but no one knows that I felt bloated and uncomfortable and I cried 10 minutes before I got there. I've learned that it's important to find community. It's important to say things out loud. You can't bottle it all up because it will drive you crazy.
That's right. So let me ask you, out of all the things you do, which one do you like more? Modeling, dancing, singing, or pageantry?
Ooh, um, I will say pageantry has given me the platform for philanthropy, so it's really hard to knock her down to second. I'm going to though, because Um, as excited as I am, singing is super new. I feel like she'll take top maybe next year. This is not her year, so it has to be dancing. The reason why I was so decent as a self-taught YouTube, you know, little prodigy, if you will, is because it wasn't just about learning the routines because I wanted to be the women on TV or on the sidelines or on the court. It's because it was therapeutic. I love dancing. I love lyrical dancing and I love, you know, choreography, hip hop and, you know, lyrical, contemporary, all those things. And that it wasn't just because of, you know, the attention of it all. It's because genuinely for me it was very therapeutic, to put a song on that I felt and then get to interpret it. And that's what dancing became for me. So it's my number one right now. Even though I'm not the world's best dancer and I know it, it really did save, like, my mental health. Even before I ever started therapy, I didn't start therapy until 2 years of quitting dancing, and I had no outlet, and so I needed to go to therapy. And that's when all my actual therapist was like, "Why'd you stop dancing?" And I was busy. I was working and helping take care of my sick mom, but I didn't realize that it had affected me. I had no idea until I got called out, and I was like, "Oh." So now we're getting back into it, and my hopes is that before I audition for or before I compete for Miss Illinois, I'm going to be competing, or I'm sorry, auditioning for the Chicago Lovables. Fingers crossed. But things like that, I mean, those are things I want. Like I miss that kind of community. So dancing's number one.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
dancing is number one.
Yeah.
Any song in particular that you like to dance to?
Yeah. If it's gonna be like an upbeat thing, I will always pick Duro by wait, what was it? I'm so sorry. I'm like blanking. Dura, and that has Becky G, the remix, and Daddy Yankee. And I think, yeah, it's up there. So it's like a English Spanish mix. And so that's my number one song. I'm really into Latin music. So that's like my happy one, and yeah, it's great. I play it at least once a day. My sad ones are different. I mean, I'm a girl, I've been through heartbreak, so I'm over here like twirling around to Taylor Swift down bad crying at the gym. So that's different. And that's when we really hit those lyrical moments. I'm over here like so you think you can dance, but those are other times.
Oh, that's awesome. So how does one get over heartbreak? Break that
You
down.
um you listen to a lot of Taylor Swift. You really do. No, she gets it. But to be
No
honest,
Beyonce?
well, see, Beyonce's like when you're mad and you're ready to get over it. So when you start, you ease in. You're sad, you want to feel it. Then you kind of snap out of it, and that's when we pop in Beyonce. But that's the end of a heartbreak. Like, you know what I mean? So I mean that's in music. You
Yeah.
get over it with music. Like I'm very big on listening to my emotions because sometimes I don't even know how to say it out loud. And my friends are like, "Oh, you're sad." I'm like, "How do you know?" They're like, "You were blasting Taylor Swift in the shower all morning." I was like, "That makes sense." Yeah, you know. Yeah, you're not lying.
Oh man, this is awesome. All right. So, let's see. Because I'm gonna bounce around a bit more.
Oh, of course.
What legacy do you hope to leave regarding mental health awareness through your platform?
I would want to leave the legacy that it is continuous, it is ongoing. You could be really sad. You can experience it now in your 20s and your 30s and then not feel it for, your 40s when you're living your best moments and then it comes back in your 50s. I would want people to know that it's ongoing the same way that anything in life is like any good thing or bad thing it's not a just this and then you move on like everything it's continuous. I would also want my legacy to be continuous with that. If the struggle's going to keep existing, then so are all of the efforts that I'm putting forward. And I would want that. I would want to create my own organization. I really really hope to one day with my background in tech develop an app that would be free of charge and another kind of supplement to things like therapy and other outlets where sometimes you do feel alone and people you can't call your friends or family and you're overseas. And I would love to be able to create like some kind of an app where you could find community even when you're at your most isolated.
Oh, that's awesome. So, what is the most important lesson you've learned about yourself through your mental health journey? Hello? Oh, she somehow dipped out. I guess somebody tried to give her a call. She'll be back, folks. Sorry about that, y'all. This happens a lot. A lot of the times people try to call our guests while they're on, and it makes them pop out, and then they have to come back in. Folks, y'all gotta stop calling people while people are having interviews. Y'all gotta just chill. And this happens a lot, but there she is.
Sorry, it just cut out. I was like, I can hear you, but I can't respond. So sorry. Can we just run that back one more time? Sorry about that.
All right. So, okay, the question that I asked is what is the most important lesson you've learned about yourself through your mental health journey?
I don't know anyone anything. I really don't. I don't know you anything, whether you're my family, my friend, my mentor, my employer. I don't owe you anything. No one knows anyone anything. If anyone makes you feel like you have to pick their well-being over your own, then it is okay to walk away, regardless of the title that they hold in your life. I think that's important. I think a lot of people gaslight themselves into, very vulnerable positions while they're just
They
trying
do.
to advocate for other people. And I think it's really important that we learn that it is not selfish to let go of people who are bringing you down, no matter what avenue they entered your life in.
And that's something that we all have to learn as people. And it can be hard. It can be
Yeah.
hard to let go of people that you've been connected with, you grew up with, and had experiences with
Hmm.
your whole life. But if you
Exactly.
see that there's a lot of toxicity
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and you're trying to grow, you have to cut the cord
Exactly.
sometimes. I'm sorry. It just has to happen in order for your growth to continue.
Exactly.
So I agree with you 1000% there.
Thank you. It's hard. It's hard though. It's hard when
Very.
it's your best friend of 10 years, it's your cousin, it's your, your boyfriend, it's your boss who gave you your promotion. That's wonderful, but at the end of the day, you don't owe those people anything because they didn't feel like they are taking parts of you and they feel entitled to, and that's what you need to start to cut off. And that took 30 years for me to learn.
Right. They didn't treat you like you were important.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean it's because
And
you're
if
not
it was
important.
importance,
Yes,
you would have been of value to them and would have done the necessary changes in order
exactly.
to accept your growth and not keep you stagnated. So
Exactly.
I understand and relate to that more than a little bit.
There you go. I know you do because we talked about this. I'm like, I know
Yeah,
you do. Background.
yeah.
I'm like, we'll talk about it our next podcast appearance. But no, yeah, exactly. I know you know. And anyone who suffered with mental health can then tell you they've sat back and been like, oh, there are moments where it could have gotten better, but I was holding on to the thing
Right,
that was hurting me. And it's like, yeah,
right.
but that doesn't mean you're a bad person. An empathetic heart does not need to be blamed for the abuse they took. It's all I've learned in my life. I'm like, just because you can understand someone doesn't mean that they're worthy of having you in their life.
That's true. That's true. All right, I got 3 more questions for you before we
Yes.
get out of here. How do you prioritize self-care in your daily routine, especially with the demands of being a pageant title holder? How do you do that?
It's a new challenge. I would be lying if I said that I'm doing a great job now, because the corporate person in me wants to treat this like a job, but there's also like the advocate in me that's like, this isn't a robotic in and out. So I've learned to just kind of take a step back and not look at everything like a project, there's an end goal. And that has really helped me because at the end of the day, like it's human beings. Like deadlines sometimes get missed because I'm not the only one struggling. And that has really,
Right.
really, really helped prioritize those things because in a corporate space, there is no excuse. A deadline is a deadline. If you miss it,
Yeah,
nobody
you got to
cares
get it
that you had
done.
a bad day. Now, while doing this, people are very understanding. I reached out to a couple of charities I really was excited about, and then lo and behold, I got, RSV and then COVID back to back, and it derailed everything. And in those moments, I felt the shame of how do I explain why I dropped the ball? And these organizations are like, no, we're just glad you still want to work with us. And so that's been a reframing for my mental health where I'm like, I'm not in trouble for not doing enough in philanthropy. Whereas before it'd be like, oh my God, I didn't answer that email. I'm going to get fired. So I'm still learning. I'm learning how to kind of like be kinder to myself, and not feel like I'm dropping the ball or, like I said, that imposter syndrome. So I'm working on it. It's
So
hard
speak
though.
a bit more on imposter syndrome.
Oh,
Tell the
yeah.
people what that is for those that don't know.
I mean, the best way I could say is imposter syndrome is that feeling you have when you're in a room, but you don't feel like you belong in it.
Mm.
And that is what I faced throughout a lot of my life in dance. I was like, well, I mean, I'm a dance. Well, even then, it's really hard. After I'm 30, I've been a finalist for multiple teams, and I still don't call myself a dancer because I've never made a team and I've never been professionally trained. And that's imposter syndrome. I've over under I I performed at quinceañeras and school like things through high school. Did things throughout my community in dance, and I would not call myself a dancer. That's imposter syndrome, where no matter how much you do, you still don't get to claim that. For some reason, you don't feel deserving of it. And it's everywhere. It's in your hobbies, it's in your career, it can be in your relationships, it can be in your own relationships, like in your relationships in terms of like a partner, but also your family. I know people who don't feel good enough for their parents. But here's the thing, admitting that's how you feel takes off the load. Um, when I was at Google, one day I was sitting with my director and I just told her, I'm like, I feel like I'm still not good enough after an entire year. And I kept, she told me, she's like, no, me too. They say it's like drinking out of a water hose your first year at Google. I'm like, that's cute. I feel like I'm being waterboarded. And the more I said it, the more people are like, oh my gosh, me too. And I actually made some of my closest friends at Google by being vulnerable, by admitting that we were all nervous in that room.
Oh,
And
that's
some of these
awesome.
people went to Ivy League schools and they told me that they still didn't feel good enough. And that's when I was like, oh, well then my little tan ass has nothing to worry about. Cause shit, like we're all struggling. Oh my goodness. Okay, cool. Because if you don't feel good enough, then that actually makes me feel better in a weird way. Like sometimes it's
I get
okay and you want to hear
it.
it. Yeah, I'm like, oh,
Because you
cool.
feel like you're on the outside and you're the oddball,
Exactly.
and they
Yeah,
feel the same way you do. So you have more in
exactly.
common than you thought you did.
100%. 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. What role does mindfulness or meditation play in your mental health routine, if any?
It has none, unfortunately. I would say mindfulness. I practice a lot of gratitude. That I would say. I'm very mindful of the things I do. Now, meditation is a rough one, but I also feel like a lot of my generation gets it. We are the poster child of ADHD. Okay, go millennials. Now that's the thing. It's the way we consume media, TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat and Pinterest and YouTube and all that. It makes it really hard to turn off your brain. That is something that I learned at 30 years old. I actually got diagnosed with ADHD a few years back. I was very stubborn. I refused to get medicated, and then at 30, I finally did it. Um, and so it was because I realized I was like, oh, I don't know how to sit still. I don't know how to meditate. I don't know how to clear my mind. Like, if you gave me $1,000 to think of nothing quietly for 30 minutes, I just lost $1,000
You
because
lost a
it's
thousand.
so hard. It's so hard in my head. I'm like, well, I have this to do, I have this to do, I have that to do, I have my family, I have, Miss Universe, I have this charity, I have this contract, I have this other person. And like, it's hard. And so people are like, I meditate. I'm like, I 100% want to say with my full little chest, I do not meditate. I want to so badly. I'm learning to do it, but that's it. It's a work in progress.
Well,
So
I think that you
meditation
have to.
is a work in
I,
progress.
yeah, I think that you just need to find a way to have some peace and quiet, close your eyes, and really focus.
Oh yeah, it's
Just really
rough.
focus on nothing but peace. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Prayer
And
does that
yeah, yeah,
and can help you with that a lot.
yeah.
I had to find that out the hard way, because I'm just as stubborn as you are.
Yeah, I mean, like take a nap or take a sick day. I was like, what's a sick day? I'm gonna keep it pushing.
I hate taking naps.
Yeah. Oh,
So I barely do
I love naps because I don't like sleeping 8 hours. I'm like,
it.
8 hours. I got things to do. I'll take a 3 minute hour nap, keep it pushing.
Right.
And so, but then that's not sustainable. It's not. It's
Yeah.
it's beneficial to all of the projects I had to turn in and all the deadlines I
Beneficial
had.
to your organs too.
Yeah, but I'm like, it's rough, but I aspire. I hope that one day I can confidently be like, I meditate, but I also don't believe in, you know, telling people like just meditate, like drink some water and meditate and go on a walk.
You'll be
Like,
fine.
girl, I don't even you if you figure it out, let me know. Cause I've been trying to meditate since I was like 15. Okay. And I'm trying to find my panic and I just keep finding I'm trying to find my peace. I just keep finding my panic. That's why I'm like, I don't know how you guys do it. Last time I meditated, I fell asleep. I was like, well, took a nap, so that was good, I guess.
Well, that's
See,
one
we're
way to
getting
find
there.
some peace.
Yeah,
Sleep.
yeah, true.
So, and listen, you're awesome. I hope
Thank
you
you.
win.
Oh, that's so nice. Me too. I hope I win for all of us, to be honest. If I don't win, it was fun while it lasted. But if I do, I just get to keep doing this. And it's been only 3 months, and it is exactly what I prayed for in my life. When I was leaving Google, I was like, I just want something that means more than just a title or a job or a paycheck. Um, I'm fortunate. I'm really fortunate so far.
Oh, that's awesome. So, anything you want to say to the people before you go?
I would just want to say, first, thank you so much for having me. Also, some of the people that you look up to are more broken than you think. And also some people you look up to didn't start at, 18 or 15. And they, were life doesn't end at 30. I just turned 31
That's a
and it is
fact.
the biggest blessing because my 30s, my 30th year was the year that I thought I failed. I wasn't married, I didn't have kids. Like, so what? I worked at a company, like, and at turning 31, I can honestly say, like, let that go. Let go of thinking that you're supposed to live according to some kind of plan and some
According to
maybe, yeah,
society.
yeah. Who cares if you turn 31 and you decide to leave Google and pursue music? Who cares? And anyone who does care and tells you you're stupid for it, they're not the kind of people you need around. Because if you really have it and if you want it and if God put it on your heart to feel it and want it, then it's meant for you. Um,
Absolutely.
and that's just what I really believe now because I am not supposed to be here. And I do not only mean that in the Miss Universe circuit, I just mean in the modeling, singing, dancing space. I was, an immigrant's daughter from Fremont, California. Like, I wasn't supposed to get this far based off statistics alone, but here we are.
This rain is chopping us up a little bit. I
I know.
apologize.
No, it's okay.
But I will say thank you once again.
Of course. Thank
You
you
gotta
so
come on
much.
stirring the pot so we can stir a little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
And on stirring the pot, we're more relaxed. We talk about mental health a little bit, but we
True.
just talk about whatever's going on, and we could talk more about your music.
Yeah. Yeah, we
So
have some projects. I'm hoping that the next time we come on, we can talk about it because I'm not gonna say anything just yet. But Team John Hill is really we're working on things already, so I'm really excited.
shout out to Team John Hill.
Yep.
John was on the show. He had some fun with me too. He had me cracking up.
Oh, I know
Cool
you have
guy.
John. You also have our operating manager Dan McFarland, who again, both of them were there the day that they discovered me. They're like, "Can you sing?" And I was like, "I guess." And literally, I'm like, "Wow!" And now I have two of the most supportive people in the industry in Chicago, like in my corner. So yeah, and they
Yeah,
connected us together. So everything works out. It all is feeling very cosmic.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, like I said, once again, don't be a stranger. Turn your
Absolutely not.
camera off, mute your mic, but don't hang up.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right.
Hey guys.
All right, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you had fun. Stacy V shared a story. She's running for Miss Universe. So y'all gotta watch and tune in and vote for her when it comes down to it. Hey, listen, it's your host Tigmatic. And once again, this has been another episode. Hey, we're on the road to 100. 92, baby. Y'all know what it is. Until next time, spread love, positivity, and peace to everybody. I'm out.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Dre the Diamond, and y'all tuned into the Pop Podcast. And guess what? There's an episode of me on there talking about how we can get you access to $100,000 to $250,000 at 0% interest. All you gotta do, use that code Tigmatic24. See you there.